You are right up my street.
Oh, you can't make me choose.
Igo by Toyota sponsors T4.
Fuck me, Lee Ryan's 13.
I remember we couldn't remember the word for table.
This is Your Welcome America presents the Saturdays 24/7 episode 1.
Woo! In our ongoing mission to translate British pop culture for America, we're heading back to 2010, a very good year, to revisit and rewatch the ITV2 reality show that follows every move of British girl group, The Saturdays.
Now, this is the official plot of this show that I found online. From gigs, photo shoots, and TV appearances, to driving lessons, surprise birthdays, skydives, and hanging out with family and friends.
This is The Saturdays 24/7.
Let's get into it. Woo!
The Saturdays. Headline hitting girl group. Fashion icons.
Oh, I love this.
And 5 great friends. They're facing a grueling schedule. And for the first time ever, we're following them every step of the way.
This is what's called a runner, which means we run.
Going behind closed doors.
Bit closer, bit closer.
24 hours a day.
Oh my God, no.
Okay, so we need to just we had the big intro there. You can hear what's going on in this show. Just little bit of housekeeping at the top.
Sure.
Any regular listeners, don't worry, the main flagship show, You're Welcome America, is still going to come out roughly every other week, but we've got 4 of these episodes of the Saturdays 24/7s coming your way in the You're Welcome America feed, so just enjoy them.
Yeah. So what you're going to get really is a forensic examination of one of the most wafer-thin pieces of television I've ever seen, but for us, very dense in nutrients and content.
Yeah, I mean, there's wafer thin, but there's loads of wafers.
It's like a layers and layers of wafer.
Exactly. It's like a Kit Kat, but without the chocolate, just extra wafer.
I'm going to say this disclaimer. You know how you kind of say bad things about your family members, but obviously you defend them to the hilt? I love these bitches. And I'm going to say some unflattering things. But if some straight person tries to say to me that they don't like the music of the Saturdays, they're dead.
And also, if anyone, particularly Americans out there, want to know about the Saturdays, they are a girl group. I mean, you've got some of the intro there, being like a British girl supergroup. Hefty words. Really, if you need any education in terms of the Saturdays, I think key songs, All Fired Up, phenomenal song.
Yep.
And then if you just want to skip to their mega mix, they have a phenomenal 8-minute mega mix.
I listened to that in the shower this morning to get myself ready for this this recording. It bounces around all over the place. It's great.
So good because it even involves ballads and things. I think someone mentioned it last night when we were out watching Drag Race. And we should say we're recording this on a Saturday.
Oh yeah,
thematic. And driving home last night, I did listen to it as well. And whenever I listen to that mega mix, I like to think of is if they were performing it live and they had to do quick changes and get props for different different
so many
songs.
reveals.
Yeah, right girls, it's all fired up, get the radar, quick, get the boxes for up. I don't know. So shall we get into episode 1?
Yes. I mean, I have something to say right at the top, and I think that you've probably noticed this, and it's going to be something we're going to notice throughout the show.
Okay.
There's kind of an intro where they're kind of introducing the different members, and the song inexplicably is I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry.
Yes.
Now, this is the theme of this show. When we did the Girls Aloud show, every single piece of incidental music was a Girls Aloud album track.
Well, Peter Lorraine, manager who makes an appearance in this, he'd been busy doing some deals, and he made sure that every song was Girls Aloud. Meanwhile, in this one,
I'd say we're actively almost avoiding hearing any songs by the Saturdays. So many, and talk about a time capsule. Some of the ones I noticed, I'm like, wow.
I noted so many of them.
There's one that I really need your help with. I couldn't put my finger on, so I really
Okay.
hope you've got it.
So right at the top, I've got there's a bit of a montage. So we have our intro, we've got the bio of the Sats, we've got the setup of the show, but then we go into a montage, and it says the next 2 months they've got a new single and a new album. So this is 2010, summer 2010. So and this show was released in end of August 2010. So which one?
It must have been the, is it the Living for the Weekend album? Is that what it's called? I
can't remember.
That's the one that's got Gentleman on it, right? Because they'd already released, we heard them performing Ego. And
yes.
So that means that album had come out. And I'm pretty sure the album that comes after that is the one with Gentleman and What About Us on it.
Okay.
So I think we're in a pre-Gentleman and What About Us era.
This is Future Fraser. It's actually On Your Radar is the album that was going to be released. So we're living in a pre-Notorious world on this TV show, which is pretty insane. Also, fun little fact from their Wikipedia, that when they released this album, they also had a clothing line with Miss Selfridge. Who cares?
So, because I was going to say, where in 2010, where are they fame-wise? And actually, I think you've just answered the question for me, because up until this point, actually I was going to say much like Girls Aloud and the show Off the Record, up until this point, the Saturdays have had a vague level of success, but they haven't had their number one yet.
No.
And
I definitely think by some of the gigs that we're seeing in this show, we're getting an idea of kind of where they're at career-wise.
Yeah. I mean, they've sold some tickets. Some people are at those gigs, and we will talk about those people in great depth. The music bed of the montage, I'm gonna shout out. It's an instrumental of Lily Allen's "The Fear."
Yes. I noted that too. I was like, and that was one where I sat for a second. I was like, this sounds so familiar. I was like, this is Lily Allen, "The Fear."
Fun song.
Great song.
What are your favourite Lily Allen songs, actually? Quick side note.
Oh, you go first and then...
Oh God, I asked you actually not having an answer to that question. Her last album was very good, by the way.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Do you know what? I actually like quite a lot of the songs that she's ever released, actually. Like right back in the day, I'm sorry, maybe not Smile, but LDN really gives me a, which I do think we might hear later in the episode, LDN really gives me a time and a place kind of lift.
Yum, 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 yum.
Sun is in the sky away.
For me, that's I've just moved to London as well.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So really trip-tropping around kind of Clapham High Street. Tripping across Clapham Common to LDN. Wow, I really made it.
Okay, so the montage tells us we're in the first few weeks of the summer.
Yeah.
And we're going to follow them for the next 2 months of these 4 episodes.
I would say that this first scene that we drop into had real... You know what I'm going to say, don't you? What? Really felt like that rehearsal scene in Spice World, the movie. You know, when they're rehearsing... When you very first see the girls, they're all sitting on stools and they're all kind of like in front of the band and just like, I'm giving... And they're all just kind of chit-chatting and being like, hey, girls, oh, yeah, oh, hi, yeah. And then they all kind of like get into it and do...
You're being very generous to the Saturdays.
Well,
because
it's the Saturdays version of that, which is...
because in Spice World, the movie, you've got, Jules Holland doing
Yes.
it. And it's all been like lit and they've like got special things.
Yes.
And
this felt like the real life version of that, as
Yeah.
in it was the Saturdays all sitting like on the floor in a kind of a slightly grim rehearsal space.
drinking a Volvic bottle
Yeah.
of water. So I named this scene Rehearsal Recording Studio, and I wrote in question marks, are we in North London? Because for some reason, recording studios and rehearsal studios always North London, and then the voiceover comes on. It's like, we're in North London. I'm like,
We spent quite a lot of time in North London in this episode.
yeah. Oh, can we talk about the voiceover?
Who is it?
I don't know who it is, but it sounds like what we would call in the biz a temp VO.
Yes.
It's very much
Guide VO.
a guide VO. Like, oh no, we'll change that before we actually make the
Yeah,
show.
it sounds like a lovely producer that worked on the show. That's just
You can speak
in
clearly.
the edit.
Molly and the girls are sitting there singing a song. There's like no enthusiasm. Right, what's going on in this scine?
Well, they're singing a song I didn't recognize.
Oh, I
will.
wrote, what is this song?
What is this song? And I also, unfortunately, did write some rough vocals for Vanessa.
Well, she's warming up.
She's just warming up. I mean, yeah, we're just in the warm-up stage.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy Una's outfit in this scene. She's wearing a, what I believe was referred to as a city short back in the day. You know, like kind of a formal short with a turquoise, I'm going to say a vest for the UK or tank top for the US, with a black waistcoat over the top of it. So
Nice.
she's very like... casual, formal. She's like, we're just rehearsing, but I'm in a little rock and roll with this vest on top.
Well, I'm at work, but it's a casual situation at work.
Exactly.
Totally.
A lot of time for Una's outfit.
Meanwhile, they're not all there because someone's missing. And I'm going to read the voiceover
Please.
exactly as it's
Please
as it's written in red. Molly has been struck down by an infectious bite from a fly. Right.
Nothing is more the Saturdays than this exact scenario. And we cut to Una and Vanessa outside talking about it. And this couldn't be more the Saturdays as well. Especially Vanessa's got this kind of slightly Essexy drawl to her voice. And she's like, you know, if you say I've been bitten by a horsefly, then you know what I mean. You know, people say like, well, that's not a lot. You know, she's only been bitten by a bloody horsefly. It's pretty bad, actually.
And I'm going to do Una. It's horrible, really. It's very, very unfortunate for us. Horrible. Yeah, just low stakes.
Now, I'm going to tell you a real life story.
Does it involve a horsefly?
It does indeed.
Great.
So my friend Siobhan, she was at Sheffield University, and I went to visit her for her birthday one year, and we were going to go to Sheffield, and then we were going to all go back to Norfolk together. It was like we were going to kind of head back there together. And at some point, she definitely was bitten by a horsefly, and it actually really was bad. She couldn't. We had to have her birthday party in her bedroom because she couldn't get out of bed because her leg was hurting too much. And obviously we were 18, so instead of seeking treatment, what we did was had a party around her in her bedroom. It was quite something, and I'll never forget her friend Emily, who was really, really drunk, fell off of her bed and managed to have a full glass of wine and not spill it. And she fell off of a bed to the ground.
Red, white, rosé, what we're talking?
Oh, we're talking cheap white back in the day. Yeah.
So like a golden white.
Yeah, like a urine
Yes,
coloured white wine. And I just remember her falling to the ground and holding the goblet aloft and not spilling it.
Her.
And then things got so bad that when we went to the train station to go back to Norwich, we had to ask the train station to give us a wheelchair because Siobhan couldn't walk. But then we got really hysterical because it was really funny. And then it looked like we were mocking people in wheelchairs because we were pushing my friend who was just cackling in a wheelchair, and we were all laughing as well. But it was all from a horsefly bite.
So where do horsefly... I'm not going to Google it, obviously, but where do they exist? Where do they live? Where are they?
It feels like a summer thing. And I think, I genuinely think you get it's almost like a blood poisoning, but like a kind of not completely, it's not fatal, but it is actually pretty bad. But
another reason not to go back to the UK in the summer. Okay, so we have a whoosh.
We do, and we also...
Wait a minute. Okay, I'll describe what we're looking at, and then you describe orally what's going on.
Okay.
We have a whoosh and a London skyline, and what are we hearing?
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. We have Mercy by Duffy. I honestly, there was multiple times in this where I threw my head back and cackled, and when I heard Mercy by Duffy, I laughed so hard.
So we're whooshing to the other side of London to a scene I'm referring to as Molly's gaff.
Yeah. And
so
the voiceover very unkindly refers to her as Hop Along Molly because she's using crutches. I didn't like that.
She's got bitten by that horsefly. Okay.
Now.
Right. we pick up on her in the kitchen.
Yeah. Let's talk about this kitchen decor.
I
want to talk specifically about the tiles and the backsplash.
Okay. There's a real black and white check tile. I'm not just talking the floor. I'm talking the walls.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm thinking Molly's been on a trip to the US.
Yeah.
Not the Saturdays related.
No,
because
still to come.
But she's been to a diner and she
Yes.
thgot, I quite like the look of a diner, actually.
I think they went to New York based on something that we see in the other room of her house.
Well, we'll get to that. So yeah, it's got a funky diner feel.
Yeah, very pine cabinets and a really hideous tiled floor. But did you notice that she also had a matching mug to match the backsplash?
Did she?
When she moves to the other room, she's drinking out of a black and white checkerboard mug.
Oh, that's good. It matches.
You can see that she matches. I would say she's just casual. She's at home. I will say that Molly's hair extensions are quite fraught in this episode. They're very 2010 extensions in the sense that, especially because she's at home and hasn't gone through hair and makeup, she's really got that 2010, like, hair on top, long straw, blonde bits coming out the bottom.
The hair extension tech wasn't quite there in 2010.
Absolutely not.
In the same way that, like, airbrush makeup and contouring wasn't there. Yeah.
Yeah, hair technology, especially for these, apart from Rochelle, for these white bitches, it hadn't quite... Hadn't quite reached them yet.
So she nips through to her living room area. Now, she's got her boyfriend there, Andy, who's Liverpudlian.
Yes.
I'm guessing by the accent.
Who is he?
That's from Liverpool, US listeners. I just wrote who?
Yeah, me too.
Don't remember this
I said,
one.
Andy the boyfriend, who? Andy the hot boyfriend, who? And I said, wearing a real 2010 white grandad neck top.
Totally. He's very select or store models.
Yes, very much.
You know what I mean? Also, kind of just before straight guys decided to get buff.
Yes.
There's still that kind of hangover of the indie era.
Yes.
Of the
for
mid
sure.
2000s.
Yes, skinny-ish, but yeah, he was on the cusp. You could tell he was ready to be a straight buff guy.
He could go either way. Okay, and you picked up on it. Behind that sofa, what was hanging in that wall?
Fucking hell. She's got an oversized print of a black and white kind of Times Square scene. But you know what? The cabs are in colour, so the cabs are bright yellow. And I put, what do you like, Molly?
Well, that one trip to New York really informed her decor.
She's got I wrote a hideous yet comfortable blue DFS corner sofa.
Yeah.
Very ugly, but it looks really comfy. And you know, for me personally, I'll take comfort over looks any day when it comes to a sofa. Happy with that. And also loved her wicker coffee table.
So she just curled up on that sofa and she's, like getting all cozy. I think she or either the band say, well, yeah, we're going to, because Molly's out because of the horsefly. She can't do those festival forest gigs that we'll get to. So they have to reconfigure the formations for dancing they talk about, because classically the Saturday is all about sort of being in like a V-shaped formation.
Like a bunch of geese flying south for the winter or whatever it is.
Or north to North London for the winter. And they're just like slowly kind of trotting into, I don't know, like a reverse V-shape position.
There's a lot of like walkiography or stompiography for the Saturdays.
Yeah.
A lot of walking around the stage in different formations,
Oh,
right?
we see a great version of that later.
Yeah, I think I said sure thing, Molly, when she was describing them rearranging the harmonies. I was like,
Oh, and at this point, because we're really focusing in on Molly, I forgot how posh she is.
yeah, she's couldn't be more blonde, white, and posh, could she? She's got those big, giant, gorgeous teeth. And she's just, she couldn't be more like Sloane Square, could she, if she tried?
But not,
But she's not old money.
No,
she's like weird, like new money posh.
She's not quite Sloane Square though. It's more like someone you knew who went to like Kent Uni or Loughborough.
Oh, she's very Loughborough. Yeah,
Loughborough
you're right.
Uni. Yeah, well, she played hockey when she was at Loughborough, but she's not like super fancy.
Right.
We're really breaking this down for American listeners. There's a real nuance here.
Right.
She didn't go to Oxford. She didn't go to Oxbridge.
She's like people my brother went to school with.
Yeah, exactly.
Private school in Norwich.
Exactly.
Yes, completely.
Exactly. She's kind of in that. Yeah, that's where she is.
Yeah, I feel like there was a real Norwich to Loughborough pipeline that was happening.
Right, we're gonna fly north to that rehearsal studio again.
We hear the clunky beats of "If This Is Love."
Also, Vanessa at the beginning of this scene, she's singing, but she's also like, I mean, they've done this song many times.
Yeah.
She's singing, but she's also just like checking her phone at the same time.
Is she the one with the BlackBerry curve? Someone has a purple BlackBerry curve.
Oh, that we see stacked on a table later.
Yeah, this is like I have to say, If This Is Love, it sounded awful in that rehearsal.
Still warming up.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we get that remember, we get that exclusive live performance later.
I have so much to say about that performance. Mainly, we'll get to it.
I love format-wise that Peter Lorraine manager clearly shoehorned in. If we're going to do this show, they have to perform every episode exclusive. We'll get to
I
it.
have a whole thing written out about the production meeting for that performance that we're going to talk about.
So we are in the rehearsal recording studio. There's a whole thing about, covering Molly's lyrics. And Frankie's got a ripped piece of paper being like, I'm going to need to try and remember these. How am I going to do it? And she's holding up like a ripped piece of paper. I'm like, this is boring.
Well, I have to say, anything that we're being given for actual story for this show is like wafer thin garbage. But what you and I are looking for is everything in between there. So what I want to talk about is how at one point, I think when she's looking at that piece of paper, I hear the on the guitar, the tones of the song Chasing Lights. Go on, go on, go on, bye bye. Which I have to say, when they do it live, I think Una and Molly both play the guitar on stage. They all sit together at the bottom of the steps and
Don't try and tell me what the Saturdays are like live. We went together.
Go on, go on, go on, bye bye.
Okay, another forced storyline that we're not interested. There are 9 dogs between the Saturdays. They're peeing and shitting everywhere. Fine. I do want to point out, though, when they have to clean up after them, someone gets out one of those kind of like Dettol spray.
Yeah, Dettol spray.
Dettol spray.
Absolutely.
And some Dettol spray and a kitchen roll.
Now, I feel this is the beginning of a point that call listener Charlie made to me many years ago about the Saturdays. She saw them live somewhere, and she said, and I quote, "My favourite member of the Saturdays is Rochelle. She's got really good bants." And I will say that the person that carries this show on their back is Rochelle.
Why she's ended up with her career.
Yeah, she
It's
really
like a TV
is.
host.
Like, she's the most magnetic on camera in a way that doesn't feel... She feels very relaxed on this show and also very funny.
Yes.
But I do feel Rochelle is the shining star when it comes to personality.
And it's not the shiniest of stars.
No.
but it's still there.
You know, I just appreciated seeing her scrubbing up dog shit with a Dettol spray and then physically kind of cleaning, I think, Frankie's dog's... I wrote arse, and I literally wrote A-R-S-E because I was back in the UK. Clean their
Arse.
dog's arse.
Clean your dog's ass. Meanwhile, Rochelle, did you see her t-shirt? It
No, I didn't.
said on it dirty blonde.
Oh.
I was like, huh?
Interesting.
I had no idea what was going on. Also, propped up in the corner behind them, rehearsing, there was a Saturday's sign, like a Saturday's MDF sign that was clearly like brought out for live shows.
Right.
Just leaning against the wall.
I did see that.
Love that. And you know what? Someone's back.
Someone I never thought we'd see so many times over the course of making this podcast. Oh, Peter Lorraine's back.
Peter Lorraine. Of course he's part of this.
girls. He's got the same energy as the Saturdays, isn't he? All right, girls.
But remember in Girls Let Off the Records, he has a lot more energy in that because
Yeah.
there's that one scene where they're all in that conference room and things start to get a little bit tense. He
yeah.
says to the cameras, he's like, cut them off, stop filming.
Well, he didn't have that worry with the Saturdays. He's
No.
like, we're going to be fine here. All
So-
right, girls. So Oxfam charity drawings. We're going to do some self-portraits and people are going to buy them.
Yeah, they're doing an online auction of self-portraits. So they need to go outside and sit at that kind of B&Q garden furniture outside the recording studio in North London. And they're going to just draw portraits of each other.
Now, I will say later on, my true Snatch Game character will be Una's mother. But I do feel like Una is... I feel a connection there. And I feel like I could embody her quite well. And I really enjoyed how they were all doing kind of silly self-portraits, and she did a very dark portrait, and she was kind of just explaining. She's like, "Oh, right, and there's me there, and there's a musical note to represent the music, and these are the trees that are my imagination sparking," and everyone was just like, "All right, Una."
It's good.
Again, showing that she's a solid, maybe 10 years older than the rest of the girls. Isn't that always the thing with the Saturdays? That when they first started, I mean, her age stayed the same. You know, she was much older than the rest of them, so like. Especially in the early days of the interviews, there's quite a lot of like, everyone's having fun. And Una's a bit like, she's like, I just want to be playing my guitar. Go on, bye.
Her portrait is good.
It
I've written
is.
here, she describes it as it's modern art. I would agree. When I was watching this, I sent you a picture of it.
Well, you know how, especially these days, all the gays that we know, or a lot of gays, I feel like a lot of gays have like a very nicely framed kind of line drawing, maybe of like a tasteful nude or something. I feel like that's a real thing I keep seeing in people's like apartments. I would love to get Una's picture, but have it like really gorgeously framed. Just have it up on the wall.
Wonder how much it went for in the auction.
Yeah, I wonder someone must have that.
Oh my god.
If anyone's listening,
If anyone
send it to America. I want to get it framed.
If anyone partook in the Oxfam charity auction and bought these self-portraits, let us know. Frankie's, meanwhile, she's doing it. Frankie's quite annoying.
Yes.
She's playing up for the camera. She does a drawing and she says, "Oh, I look like a strawberry." But then I think she says, or so someone else says this, the only thing that will make it look like her is her boy hair. Like, I appreciated...
Yeah, Frankie's iconic boy haircut that really set her apart.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I mean...
She looks great.
She looks great.
Yeah. And I know that we have talked about this offline, but I just want to mention when I played a Saturday song for our friend Bordeaux, who's from South Africa, doesn't understand. He saw the cover art picture and he said, "Who's that?" And he pointed to Frankie. He said, "Is that Salma Hayek?" Which I just thought was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Because I think by the time, the cover art that we were looking at, it was quite deep into the Saturdays when the tanning was enough to mistake a white woman for Salma Hayek.
Right.
But I do think that this scene, it's worth us mentioning this. This scene showed the dynamic between Frankie and Rochelle. And obviously they knew each other from being in S Club Juniors before
yes.
the Saturdays. And I definitely think you can see that kind of, they're incredibly close in a way that they have quite like a sisterly, the way they kind of tease each other backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
And Frankie tries to come for Rochelle having a moustache. And again, she handles it with aplomb and says, well, not right now because I've just had a wax. Love Rochelle. To quote Charlie, great bands.
Great bands.
Hate that word.
Quick sidetrack. S Club Junior's favorite tracks. One Step Closer to Heaven.
Yes, I think Automatic High is my favorite.
Oh,
S Club
that's
Juniors
very
song.
you. You love a clunky poppy.
I do.
What about
Automatic. Oh,
New Direction?
Na, 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 na.
Like that one.
Yes, problematic kind of magic carpet.
Yeah.
Video for that one.
Right, we're gonna leave. So we're gonna hop inside a scene that I'm calling Addie Lee.
Yeah, we go back to the instrumental of I Kissed a Girl for this scene. We see the girls in an Addie Lee flying through the gorgeous English kind of motorway countryside. And I'll tell you why I recognize where they're heading. Because they're heading pretty much towards my childhood.
Oh, really?
Which is Thetford Forest. So Thetford is just outside of Norfolk. It's in the next county along, but it's actually crucially the home of Centre Parks.
This whole vibe is very Central Parks. Wait, before we get there, we've called the scene Addie Lee. Addison Lee,
yeah.
Just to explain to US listeners or people who've never lived in London, Addison Lee, for a long time, does it still exist? Probably, was like a cab company. And it'd be very like, if you're at work and you have to go somewhere in like a car, oh no, we'll call up the Addison Lee. Have you got the details of the Addison Lee account? Yeah, we'll get Addison Lee account.
They had a real chokehold on the kind of media and entertainment industry, didn't they?
Yeah.
Addison Lee. I remember we had a few Addison Lees when you and I were first working at that company.
Did we?
And you were in control. You had the Addison Lee login details, and we had a few illicit Addison Lee rides that our like 25-year-old selves should not have been traveling in.
Oh yes, because I've just remembered on that job. It's like your first job, you get paid nothing, but I was also in charge of all the Addison Lee invoicing.
Yes.
Because no one else wanted to do it.
So you were able to cook the books.
Yeah. So every now and again, I would just like get one home. Or
I just remember it was such a treat. I think we used to get them sometimes from Soho to like maybe East London if we were going out there for one of those nights, and we thought we were it.
Yeah.
Climbing out of an Addie Lee, one leg coming out of an Addie Lee outside a club.
I once used one to move house.
This is
I've just remembered.
Wow, what an abuse of power. I love it.
It was, again, I feel like in those situations, as long as you're good at your job, you're getting paid what, like 12 grand a year or something.
Right.
Those are the perks. And the same, like, remember at that job, there was that morning meeting every Monday or something where you brought in all the croissants and the coffee for all the execs. And if they didn't eat them, you would have them.
Yeah, of course.
Or you would get them all organized, you'd bring them, and they'd be like, oh no, it's been cancelled.
Oh no. You're like, I love that job. That was that free, all that Diet Coke for free in the fridge in the kitchen. And there was a time where I'd like make myself a sandwich using all the free the free bread and peanut butter instead of buying lunch.
I lived on. So this is the job actually Fraser and I met at 2007.
Yeah.
And the kitchen. I used to make toast, butter, Marmite, and that'd be like lunch.
Yeah, then the scraps that we got from the free food that we bought for the execs.
It's the first gig of the summer.
It is.
And it's the big one. Thetford Forest. That's the VO.
Oh, yeah. Frankie's flicking through New Magazine. Mm-hmm. Very important. We get kind of a slightly lame scene of them talking about kind of being in the public eye. And Una says this thing about how she was quoted saying, I have cellulite all over my boobs and bum. And they were like, can't even have cellulite on your boobs.
Boring,
all right,
boring,
ladies.
boring. Now we get a scene which has very much been loosely brainstormed for this series. I mean, the brainstorm in the back of a post-it note that happened.
Well, it's the lightest of Googling to find out activities to do near Thetford, wherever, because let me tell you, go fucking ape.
Go
Ape.
Explain Go Ape to our US listeners.
Go Ape is a real go-to like activity. It's a team building or like birthday venue thing where you basically get put in like harnesses and you do kind of high wire walking in the trees and climbing up ropes, and it's a real like Route 1 reality TV idea. Is like, I thought it would be funny. We'll get the girls up high and having a wacky old time.
It was also very like, oh, what are you doing for your stag party? Oh, well, no, we're going to go to Go Ape.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Actually, Go Ape was an in-joke with me and my friends in London where anytime in the wedding palooza season where everyone was getting married, we were always that was always our joke that we were going to make someone have their hen do at Go Ape. So we'd end up sending like fake texts to the bride to be being like, well, you know, you're going to be up high for this activity, so make sure you bring like the appropriate shoes.
Imagine like, you can imagine God, I'm too American. A bachelorette party, a hen party. The bride like wearing a veil, but like on a zip line.
Actually, it's very Don't Tell the Bride, isn't it? Remember Don't Tell the Bride?
God. So maybe the guy organizes the wedding like in a treehouse at Go Ape.
Yes.
And to get to the treehouse, you have to go down the zip line.
Absolutely.
And then the bride would be like, but my mum's in a wheelchair. How's she gonna get there?
Mark, you know I don't like heights.
Yeah.
God, Don't Tell the Bride is a real slice of UK magic. It really is.
My YouTube algorithm for a long while was just endless clips from Don't Tell the Bride.
I love that show so much.
It's so of a time and
So
gendered,
mean-spirited.
So yeah, they're at Go Ape. There's nothing huge. Oh well, wait a minute.
Rochelle really carries this scene.
Well, yeah, she's doing a tightrope and ballet pumps, by the looks of things.
Those shoes are such of a time. A ballet flat.
Ballet flat. Did you hear the music that's playing?
I did. So yet again, we have another piece of licensed music, not by the Saturdays, and it's Bonkers.
By Dizzy Rascal.
Bonkers.
It's a classic, like, in the edit, they've been like, right, we need to add some sort of energy to this scene. Like, bonkers.
Just that energetic song over shots of them very slowly walking across wires in ballet flats. And Vanessa was wearing like a white boot, which I feel like she was wearing the same white boots that we see later in the performance.
That they wear on stage.
Yeah, was she just wearing her stage shoes to do Go Ape?
They're comfy. She forgot her other shoes.
Dead comfy. Yeah, that was it. She didn't. They told her to bring trainers for an activity, and she just didn't.
She didn't. Right, we're gonna get to Thetford Forest.
Yeah, we've got to get to this gig. So much like my childhood in this area of the UK, we see, I wrote a real motley Norfolk crew of just all white people.
Oh my God.
That's my life. That's my childhood.
I wrote posh crowd, upper middle class, swept hair.
Yeah.
And like there's some pieces to camera where they're getting interviewed. It's like very much, this is actually my first gig. I've never been to a music show before.
Yeah.
And it's that
We're
thing
really
of like,
excited to see the Saturdays.
Saturdays. It's that slightly posh thing of going up at the end of sentences.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the gals, they're on some segways.
Yeah, these ITV2 producers of really plumbing the depths. Someone just getting some segues.
Wait, are we going to do Go Ape or the segways? Let's just do both.
Yeah, it feels like they were like, well, we're just going to throw a lot of shit at the wall. I feel like maybe they saw the rushes of Go Ape and they were like, not sure we're going to have enough to really hang our hats on this one, everyone.
Can we talk about their performance outfits for this show?
Yeah, what a strange selection. How would you describe them?
I couldn't. So this is how I describe them. White, green, and a high-vis orange.
Yeah.
That's the color palette. And there's asymmetric panels, and there's studs.
Yeah.
And then those kind of white pixie boots.
Yeah, like a
sturdy white pixie boot.
And it's definitely a lot of mixed materials on those outfits.
Yeah.
You're seeing the studded thing looked like it was made of leather. Then there was kind of mesh portions, and then just solid color block portions as well.
They don't look bad.
No.
But I just, thematically, I'm not sure where we're at.
What we're doing and what's happening.
It's a little bit like 60s Barbarella Space meets Rock Chick.
Yeah. Very strange. I will say I enjoyed how low rent the environment was that they were getting ready in. So it was clearly, wherever this gig is, they were put in some kind of like...
Oh yeah,
function little like building, and you could tell that obviously it's heights of summer in the UK, which means there's no air conditioning in there.
Never.
So they're all running around, and like I think Una like stomps out of the kind of wardrobe room, and she's just like, "Do you know what? I'm sweating. I'm absolutely sweating buckets."
There's double glazing everywhere in that
And
building.
it's that real British thing of like, just open the doors, and it's like. For the small period of time that we have heat in the summer in the UK, we do not know what to do with it.
My take on that building was it was like a kind of holiday cottage, a new build holiday cottage in Thetford Forest.
Yeah.
But that was actually quite a big one.
Yeah.
With like a big living area and stuff. There were definitely wood beams going on. But we're in a forest. Wood.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so they perform. We get to see I Just Can't Get Enough. I Just Can't Get Enough.
So this is most importantly we have to talk about a live detail of this song that I noticed, which is so good. So obviously, I'm obsessed with their cover of Just Can't Get Enough. So if you listen to the the radio edit, it literally goes do 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 do, and then Vanessa does her. But what you notice in the live version is they have a little extra bit where it just goes do 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 woo, and the girls do a very limp woo together as they're like trotting out on stage. I don't want to keep coming down on Vanessa's vocals, but it was tough. She opens the song and it was when I'm with you, baby, I go out of my mind, just can't get enough. Yeah. Oh no, I actually know Frankie does the opening. So Vanessa does the ad libs. She does the and they were okay. And then Frankie did the when I'm with you, baby, and she came out of the gate a little too. I think they were really pumped up by that Thetford crowd.
Yeah.
That song couldn't sum them up more. That song, could it? Just them trotting on and then go all together going woo. It couldn't be more them. It's so perfect.
So the gig happens.
We get some really insipid crowd work.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but we're missing someone. Oh no, Una's the funniest thing. It's literally like she works in an office. She goes,
No, I know.
She goes, I don't know if you noticed, but we are missing someone. Molly's not with us, but she's going to be back at work with us on Monday. These people don't care about this at the gig.
I wrote the exact same thing. Molly's ill, but she'll be back to work on Monday. And I wrote, at the Saturday's office? No, she'll be back on Monday. She'll be back in.
Like these poshos in Thetford, they don't care that she's off and going to be back on Monday.
Now, at the end of the gig, there's a lot of shouting from the manager, like, right, girls, get into the Addison Lee. And they've got to get out because they've got 4 minutes to get out before the crowd are, released?
I think so, yeah. I think it's before they get stuck in the post-gig traffic.
Right.
Why does my note say, in capital letters, Thetford goes wild?
At the end of the gig,
I
maybe they do.
I think the crowd really enjoyed it.
I really liked that. It was actually really, it's actually really good.
Really good?
Yeah, no, I like that bit. It's a shame Molly wasn't here, but
I really like that bit at the beginning when they came out and they went dun 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 dun, dun woo. Oh my god, I'm gonna cut that clip in 1,000 times in this episode.
Where are we going next, babes?
Well, I'll tell you, as we're getting into the car, we hear a little song. We hear an instrumental. You missed one.
It. What was it?
It couldn't be more 2010. Ooh. It goes dun 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 dun. She's a lovely. She's a lovely. What was that band called?
I couldn't tell you.
All I remember is I saw them interviewed on like Pop World, and they were really annoying guys, and they said that song was written about Michaela Strachan from the Really Wild Show.
What is it?
Oh god, this band name, it's really making me angry to sing it again.
Hit me.
Scouting for Girls.
Oh.
Ugh.
Also, what a gross name.
Ugh.
Yeah, we're just some guys scouting for girls.
Or is it like, or do they mean like a scouting troop? It's a scouts, but it's for girls instead of girl guides.
Scouting for girls. That's how we're going to take it.
She's a lovely. She's a lovely.
Oh, horrible.
That instrumental, I feel, was used in 10,000 TV shows and adverts at the time because it's like a piano. It's like doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. It's really, and then it goes
do more with Tesco Club cards.
100%. It's so that. It's like the Fiat 500. Doo-doo, doo-doo,
doo-doo. With your new BT Home Hub, you can add friends and family.
BT Home Hub. Oh my god.
Throwing phrases at you.
Famously, BT was the company that told Charlie to calm down on the phone. And they told her she was being hysterical. We were having some internet issues in the house that we lived in, and they were really messing her out on the phone, and they told her to calm down and stop being hysterical.
Calm down, Charlie. Come on.
You're being hysterical. Honestly, to this day, Charlie still cringes at the company BT.
Oh, right. Let's get to
So we're going to get to a photo shoot.
I've written mag photo shoot.
Yeah. And guess who's back? Molly's back with her ripped jeans and her hair extensions.
Do you know what I wrote?
And flip-flops.
Does she get sick pay? That's what I wrote.
Oh, it must be Monday because she's back at work.
Yeah, she's back at work. The girl's like, yeah, you're really brown. Yes, she is brown.
They do seem genuinely happy to see her in a way that's very, very sweet. Where was this venue? It looked like a pub, but also...
But it's one of those classic, like when we were working TV in London venues of like if you were working on like T4 Pop World and you would do an interview somewhere,
Right.
at like a bar in Kentish Town,
Yes.
that was no longer a bar, or it was a bar downstairs,
Yeah.
but all the rooms upstairs they'd done it with like funky distressed wallpaper
Yes.
and like a studded leather couch
Absolutely.
with mirrors, different size mirrors, maybe a giant mirror ball just sitting on the floor.
You're so right. It's a real photo shoot, a general space, isn't it?
Oh my god! There's always like a clawfoot bath.
Yes.
that you could like get
There is in this one.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna do a photo shoot for Fabulous magazine, which is in the news of the world. R.I.P.
And it's for the cover.
It's for the cover.
That's a big
someone's
deal.
like the cover, and someone's like, oh, it's the cover.
Yeah,
Is, oh.
Molly, it's Molly. Well, she's not been at work, so
She
she doesn't
doesn't
know.
know. She's not been on email.
No, she put on her out of office.
That's fair. No, girls, don't CC and Molly because
Don't
she's not well.
message Molly. She's been bitten by a horsefly.
Don't even CC. No, it's not fair. She needs to recover.
Now, I would say that much like how this show, everything the way it's been produced is the most Route 1 obvious thing you can do, this Fabulous magazine photo shoot is the most Route 1 idea for a girl band photo shoot, I think.
Okay, pitch it.
Okay. So we've got the Saturdays coming in. They're going to do the cover.
Okay, they're doing the cover as well.
Yeah, they're going to do the
Great,
cover
do
as
the
well.
cover.
And obviously, so we need, kind of a progression and a story. So we're thinking they're young, they're girls, they love to go out and have fun, they're rock and roll. Why don't we do a photo shoot which shows, like, first of all, the girls are getting ready.
Yep, because they'll look good in
Because
that.
they look really good getting
Yeah.
ready. Then we'll show the girls, on a night out, glamorous,
Fun.
high energy
Who
fun.
doesn't want to go on a night out with the Saturdays?
Then I'll tell you, I had a really fun idea.
Tell me.
Imagine that the night went wrong and the girls end up getting arrested. And we do a photo shoot of them in like a police lineup.
That's fun. That's fun. I just hope we can find a space in Kentish Town that can accommodate all those different situations.
I think I got it.
Yeah, above a pub.
Okay, so at this point, Molly tries to pretend that she's never been to a kebab shop because they're starting to talk about what it's like after a night out.
So she's with quite an overconfident, attractive,
Yeah.
straight hairdresser.
Oh, I said hair gay Nick. Do you think he's one of those deceptive
Yeah,
straight hairdressers? That
That's
was
how
that
he-
real 2010, wasn't it?
that's how he gets them.
What was that really hot guy? Do you remember The Salon? That TV show, The Salon. Was his name Leo? And he was like a straight hairdresser.
That
and he was
rings a
really,
bell.
He was really camp, but also like really hot.
The salon.
The Salon.
Molly's never been to a kebab shop. She's a piece of toast after a night out.
Yeah, and I did think of you last night because when you dropped me off after we'd been to watch Drag Race.
Okay, what did we both have post going for some beers last night?
So I scrambled through my empty fridge and I managed to make a kind of fake turkey sandwich. So I had toast, a bit of hummus, and some sliced bits of fake turkey and
Lovely.
some baby spinach.
Oh, that's very good actually.
Yeah, not bad.
I did a tin of tuna, obviously for the protein, some baby tomatoes, oil vinegar, then an oat cake. Because I don't know if you know this about me, but I am Scottish. Have you oat cake in there?
And then at this point, Molly and Frankie have a hug where it looks so genuine that I think Frankie might be crying. Did I make that up?
Who knows?
Then we cut to the photo shoot being done. Now, what's playing during the photo shoot? Great opportunity to play a Saturday song.
Red one. It's Just Dance by Lady Gaga.
Oh my god.
It is 2010.
But it could not have been a more perfect time to put in a Saturday song. Like, any of their songs pretty much would work for a photo shoot scene, wouldn't it? Like, any of them.
At this point, I wrote, they all seem like the pretty nice and boring girls
Yeah.
from uni.
They really are. Apart from Rochelle, who's maybe slightly more fun.
Yeah.
It's like if you had to pick
In a different
Saturday,
crowd.
Yeah.
In a different crowd.
Yeah, she needs a different. You're so right. Yeah, in her friendship circle, aka the Saturdays, they are dragging her down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so the shoot, whatever, I just described it in the capital letters as High Street.
Very. We have a fun scene of Rochelle having some back pain and Frankie having to sit on top of her and massage it out, and she farts. Isn't that fun? That doesn't matter. I want to talk about this room they're in. You're so right about this photo shoot space. So it's a hardwood floor that they're on.
Yeah.
But in the other room, so they're in like a kind of an open room that's kind of got an archway in between, kind of dividing it. And in the other room is literally a clawfoot bath filled up with bubbles, just in an empty room, but it's on a hardwood floor, which is very kind of... It's very beautiful because you love me.
My baby, my baby, my baby.
And also, I don't know if you spotted, but my eagle eye just, on the side of like a funky dresser, I just spotted like a mug of tea.
Well, it's probably a little bit chilly up
Yeah.
there. Those wood floors in Kentish Town, little chilly. Get it down. Girls, we're going to order some food from downstairs at the pub. What do you want? Like a warm salad?
Okay, I'll have the... What's that tuna salad that people have?
A tuna niswas.
In a cois.
But a grilled,
Yeah.
like a tuna steak niswas.
And that's what Vanessa called it. I'll have the tuna nicois, please.
Yeah. Hold the green beans.
Now, at this point, we see the tail end of the photo shoot, and we have yet another great opportunity for a Saturday song, and we have dun 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 dun. Shut up and watch me go.
Woo!
By
The Ting
The Ting
Tings.
Tings. A band that could not be more 2010 if they tried.
Did we know, in one of the shows we worked on together, didn't the Ting Tings perform? Have I made that up?
I don't know. It sounds like something I worked on in the mid-aughts.
Yeah.
Shut up and watch me go. Woo! And then I just wrote the note, this police photo shoot is so lame.
Yes.
It's like, we're going to look wacky and crazy.
Yeah, we've been arrested a night out. We're just some fun-loving girls.
Yeah, whatever. Defund the police.
Meanwhile, agreed. Meanwhile, Rochelle's going out tonight with Marvin. Marvin's going to come to Kentish Town Pub and pick her up. And she's like, by this point, they've had all the hair like back combed and makeup down their face. And she probably thought, do you know what? For my night out with Marvin,
We'll have makeup done for the photo shoot.
makeup down for I might just borrow one of the dresses, actually.
There's nothing I love more as well. Like, when you're really, really famous, if you'd finished a photo shoot, the next place you go is like, you get in your car, you get driven here, you get driven there. I love with the Saturday, it's like, yeah, Marv's going to come pick me up from work.
Yeah.
It's very like, truly Marvin is going to drive and pick her up from
Actually,
work.
the food's quite good at the pub downstairs. We'll just stay in the same
have
pub.
dinner.
No, I had the tuna niswas for lunch, so
Yeah, Vanessa had the tuna in the koi. She didn't like it.
turns out she doesn't like tuna.
Okay, we are 45 minutes into this recap and we're only just at
my
the
God.
24/7 exclusive performance.
Okay, so what's here clearly happening every episode, we're going to get an exclusive performance filmed especially for the show. So we've got Ego in episode 1, a fun song.
Yes, absolutely. And you can tell that when they sat down and put this concept together, the concept is, well, the show's looking at, backstage in the girls' life. So we're going to imagine that you almost sing backstage while they do a performance.
Yeah.
Very like raw, you're seeing the camera operators.
Well, I just think, we're so used to seeing the girls being like this sort of glossy pop
Yeah.
product. I want to just pull back
Yeah.
the curtain and I want to
Yeah.
see like the cameras. I want to see the cables and to be fair to them, actually, in all sincerity, they sound good here.
Yeah.
It's not a lip sync performance.
No, it's definitely an as live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Now, I had a note here that it seems like they were all styled by Per Una at M&S. Like, especially Rochelle. Rochelle looks like a fun office manager.
Imagine if Una did a line for Per Una. Una for Per Una. Yeah, so,
Una X Per Una.
Oh, yeah. So the outfits, I've just written beige, gold, and black,
Yeah.
and khaki on Rochelle.
Yeah, Rochelle really looks like a fun office manager. They've given her hair like this kind of flick to it, and she really looks like Tracy, the office manager, who's like gone wild on karaoke. Una's wearing a real fun pant. They're like a kind of almost like a drapery, like a chinoiserie drapery trouser, but very much that's how they'd be described at Per Una. The chinoiserie drapery trouser.
Location-wise, I've written, we're in the white makeup room at the BBC studios.
Absolutely. And at one point, even though we're meant to be seeing behind the scenes, at one point, truly someone walks across the back of the shot that definitely is not meant to be there, which really made me laugh. And the way their performance ended, I howled with laughter. So basically, like, the final shot is the shot of like a Canon camera that's been like set up to film it.
Yeah.
So you like see the girls, and the girls will just walk off to silence, and you just hear like clomp, 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 and one of them's like, "Oh yeah, that's really."
That's a cut, girls.
I do love the song Ego, especially it's got that
Boom, boom, boom.
It's got that really, like, Vanessa has a really good bit. She has the kind of the big bit before the breakdown. And when it's time for me to come back down to where we started, where we parted.
This
4 notes in parted.
the Ego choreography is dire.
Well, the choreo in this is it's a lot of like
Shifting weight.
It's a lot of moving your body weight and using the top of your body.
Like you're kind of breaking down robot doll.
It was definitely. I said I wrote that the performance was very claustrophobic. So not to go into detail because it's just in the coming up yet again another song they used the instrument of LDN by Lily Allen.
Great.
So now it's going to be the girls' day off.
Wait a minute. I wonder if all these songs are the same record company.
Probably, or like Polydor.
Yeah.
Of course.
Peter Lorraine. What's he like?
We see you.
He's just flicking through the Polydor catalog. Okay, so I've titled this "Girls' Day Off" / Una Goes Skydiving.
Yeah. Let's talk about Una's house. Let's talk about this mock Tudor, new build mock Tudor.
You mean the modern Tudor semi-detached house with hanging baskets that has windows with lots of metal squares?
Yeah, it's like the LED. Is that what it's called? Like LED something, those windows.
And from the kitchen, you can see a metal washing line outside of the window. Classic UK site. In fact, I think when I was in Scotland recently, I sent you a picture of like one of those metal upside down washing line
it's one
things.
of the ones that rotates, so it can swing around in the breeze.
And if there's ever like a big wind or a hurricane,
Gotta get your washing in.
Yeah, well, got it, but sometimes that can get bent as
I feel like my whole childhood was me rushing outside with my mum, helping her take washing down off the washing line when it was raining.
Totally.
It's a real like weird childhood memory that I can feel.
Oh, we left the washing out.
And my mum, as you know, not the best kind of housekeeper of all time. There was a lot of, oh my God, I left the washing out. Always my mum leaving the washing out. Lot of light pine cabinets.
Yeah.
Very light pine. So obviously the voiceover is saying that it was Una's boyfriend, rugby star Ben Foden's birthday.
Yep.
We get a fantastic cutaway shot of some really sad birthday cards all lined up on like the counter with like a really tiny, clearly like M&S cake with like just one slice has been taken out of it. And you can tell it's been on the counter for a little long and it looks a little dry.
Yeah, still eat it.
Yeah, oh, of course. I love those little M&S cakes. Was she making tea in?
Right, she's making cups of tea, and one of the cups is a Smarties mug. Now, I've written that it came with an Easter egg.
Of course,
because that was always the thing that you get a Smarties Easter egg. Comes with a mug.
Yeah, the mug's filled with Smarties.
Oh, was
Tubes
it?
of Smarties, not loose Smarties.
Oh, okay,
that would be good. Yeah, and the other one just says, in the style of I Love New York, it says I heart tea. I actually paused it so I could read the other mug. I heart tea. Fun.
Oof, where are these mugs now?
Oh, I mean, they should be in a museum. They should be in like Planet Hollywood
with the modern art picture of Una.
Exactly.
Okay, so on this day off, Una's decided to surprise rugby playing boyfriend Ben. I wrote Ben Fogel originally, not right. Ben Foden.
Ben Foden, hot.
He's gonna jump out of the plane. No, I was
Still
excited.
hot.
I was like, oh, he's gonna be hot. He is, but he's so boring.
Oh, of course he is. Wearing his Hollister top. Definitely, he was wearing a Hollister polo shirt.
So I did a little checking up on Ben. So he did in 2019. He did the X Factor Celebrity Series.
Yes.
And then in 2021, recently did Dancing on Ice.
Yes.
And then I googled just the other day. He's just sat his real estate exam in New York.
Ooh, that makes sense.
Sure.
He's also father of
Baby Aoife Bell.
Baby Aoife Bell.
Who's now like 12 years old.
Yeah. So just a couple of quick decor things from Una's kitchen, then we can move on. My favorite thing is, she's clearly done this before the camera crew turn up, a full set of washing up is drying on the rack. Did you notice that? Just like all these glasses and plates fully like, and you could still see like the soap coming off of them. She's clearly just done it.
The fairy liquid suds.
Now, there's something very odd. When Ben walks into the room, he walks past a framed picture. Did you see this? I swear it is a framed picture of Vanessa.
No. So I tell you
It
what
looks
it is.
just like her.
It's the
calendar.
calendar. It's the Saturday's
the one
calendar,
that
which we see later.
Yeah.
But I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah.
I love that Una's like, oh, do you know what? I like this. I'm just going to put up this calendar. Oh, this month it's Vanessa. That's nice. So,
speaking of Vanessa,
well, we're not there yet, but tour manager Mark arrives in the people carrier, and we've got some music. Do you want to know what the music was?
this is the one that I couldn't get.
Oh my god, I have this. I have the artist and everything, 'cause I was obsessed with the song. It's Jay Sean and the Rishi Rich Project, Eyes on You.
That's it. That's the one I couldn't get.
Love this
Got
song.
my eyes on you.
And then I've
So
also got
good.
here music, got No Good Advice as well. But maybe that's later on.
That's
in the
later on.
skydiving.
Yeah, that's during the skydiving. Now, so they're on the way, and she says, she's like, "Have you ever had the runs with nerves?" And then she starts to tell a story, and I really wanted her to finish. She went, "I have. It's actually about the time," and he cuts her off. And he's like, "I don't want to know." I was like, "Ben, I want to know."
Yeah, we want to know.
When did Una have the runs? So now we cut to one of possibly the worst setups of this entire show, which is Vanessa's going to have a driving lesson.
Well, I mean, she's had 18 lessons with 3 different teachers. Now she's having another.
This driving instructor, she was like it was like they'd cloned her from just the whole vibe of the Saturdays, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wrote they definitely. I wrote they definitely didn't cast someone with personality as
she
the driving
definitely called
teacher.
Tracy with an I at the end. Hiya, my name's Tracy. I work for AA driving school.
Blurred.
Yeah.
AA on the side of the car. Blurred.
Can clear every song at Polydor, but can't clear the AA brand.
Well, but no, we don't want to. We'll call them, and if they want to endorse the Saturday, they don't. No, not getting on the show.
So there's not much to say in this scene apart from the fact that she keeps driving on the wrong side of the road.
And Tracy says, "Have you been abroad lately?"
No. Two personalities in that car really lighting up the screen.
At the end of the lesson, she's told that she needs 40 hours more. And then I've written it in her dialect. The teacher said, "If I didn't have dual controls, I'd be worried. But I have dual controls, so I'm okay."
Her advice to Vanessa is, you just got to keep calm and remember you're driving in a car. So I did notice that they definitely were driving in southwest London for this driving lesson, because at one point I paused it to look at the road sign, and one of the turnoffs said Kingston and New Malden, which is southwest London.
So I wonder where in southwest London we are.
Well, I think if that's what she's somewhere like kind of maybe Wimbledon, maybe Richmond.
Yeah, I think Wimbledon.
Yeah,
that feels right. She ever been to the tennis? No.
No, of course
never. Not. Okay, up next. What are you calling this next scene?
Oh, are we ignoring the skydive?
Oh, here's the thing. You know my feelings about watching people skydive. So boring.
I said, well, because skydiving is technically meant to be a very exciting activity, and I said, how do they even make skydiving boring? But my favourite part, there's nothing to really talk about. They did play, no good advice, which again, I thought, how can you actually play a song by a girl band so similar to them or so much more successful than them and not their own music?
I know.
And then my favourite part was them getting into the Addison Lee at the end, and Una's clutching a DVD she's got of the day.
Wonder what song she chose for her DVD. Maybe just no good advice.
I think it was probably her acoustic cover of Chasing Lights. Go on, bye.
It's clearly a choice that they've made not to use the Saturday's music throughout. Do you think they're like, we want to reach a broader appeal?
Maybe. Or maybe they truly were just like, we don't have enough songs to fill the episode, especially with the 24/7 exclusive performance each week.
That's why.
Because Ego is the perfect song to have over like transitional, like that. It's like a really good, like, yeah. Anyway.
Let's get to radio promo day. So,
oh my god, we haven't even got to Rochester yet. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's pick up the pace.
Radio promo day. We start out at Leicester Square. I can see a Garfunkel's restaurant in the corner of my eye.
Molly's wearing a miniskirt, heels, and carrying a little dog. Love her.
She's like, well, she's dressed up for work. I think it's because she's been off work for a while, so she's like,
she's been in those sweats.
Now
at
she
home.
can get out of the house. Lots of like going down the hallways and like carrying big paper shopping bags.
Yes.
Like they've just been to Coast. They got a big shopping bag.
Coast.
And they're in the Heart Breakfast show with Jamie Theakston.
Jamie Theakston, my friend Leah's favourite celebrity of all time. Her biggest male celebrity crush of all time is Jamie Theakston, and still is to this day. He's held up very well. He's still very handsome.
Yeah.
Good for him. There's not much going on here. There's lots of dogs shitting. There's some terrible questions about the sexy dance routines. I was like, I don't think so. I picked up at one point, it's just a very tiny moment that I got obsessed with as they were like leaving the Heart studio. There's clearly some like publicist person for them. She's on the phone in the background. I just heard her say, yeah, well, we could take the Charing Cross train. She was talking about something to do with logistics, and I just heard the Charing Cross train, or taking the train from Charing Cross. I was like, yeah, of course.
And then on the way out, they do a whole day of radio interviews.
Yeah.
And on the way out, tell you what, clever Molly, she's put on those heels and that miniskirt, she gets papped.
I know. And it definitely, where they did that whole day of radio interviews, it was right by Fremantle, right by the old Fremantle,
Oh, is it up there?
And yeah, and do you remember that really awful, there's that bar that was underground that everyone, if you worked at Fremantle on like a Friday, people would be like, oh, well, let's go to blah, blah, blah. And it was this, you had to climb down the most precarious like metal staircase to get to this underground bar. And it was so shit. I just feel like I always had a really annoying Friday night at that stupid underground bar in Soho.
I think I'd even by that stage become very good at just saying no and just not going to that underground bar.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at the peak, the pinnacle of this episode. It's the Rochester Castle gig.
Una's wearing a fun straw hat in the Addison Lee.
Well, before we even get there, it's a big day, isn't it?
Well, I'm telling you, for Snatch Game, I'm doing Una's mum.
So it's
the most Irish woman ever to have lived.
It's Una's parents' 33rd wedding anniversary. I'm not going to do the Irish accent for 33rd, but Mama Una, as I'm calling her, they're just before they get in the Addie Lee. She's She's leafing through the Saturday's calendar, which she's plucked off the wall. I'm not going to do the accent.
I
She's
will.
like, okay, you do it.
Oh, look at that. It's a lovely picture. That's Vanessa. That's Vanessa. Oh, there's Una. Does she look nice? It's November. I love that she calls out the month. How does she describe what she's wearing?
I've written exactly. Here's Una in November on her own. The one with the beads. Lovely picture. It's lovely.
Lovely picture.
The one with the beads.
Now, I'm obsessed with Una's mum because Siobhan of the horsefly injury that I spoke of before, her mum is Irish, a lovely woman called Eileen, and she has Irish mum energy, and that's where my kind of Irish mum voice comes from. So I felt very deeply connected with Una's mum, and my favourite part of this was clearly like the girls have gone and they're filming Ben with Una's parents, driving them to the gig.
4 hour drive.
It's so awkward. And my best thing, so this is very Irish mum, just to feel like there's a lot of like silence filling. And Una's mum at one point just says, and she's looking at the camera inexplicably, she goes, if you like your job and you work hard at it, you'll always do well. And then you just hear from the kitchen, Ben phone goes, ha, 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 ha.
A lot of polite laughter from
So
Ben.
much. Now let's jump in the car and have a little discussion about what Una used to do when she was younger. Now, I tell you what Una used to do. She used to dress up as Michael Jackson. She used to put on that Triller. She put on that Triller in the background and she used to dance like Michael Jackson. It's like, I would pay a lot of money to see Una dressed as Michael Jackson doing Triller.
Oh, so we have the 4 hour drive. We've then got some more music. Do you know what music it is?
No, I couldn't put my finger on this one.
Dizzy Rascal, Dance With Me.
Yes.
Yeah, same label.
So
Cleared it.
there's a lot of the girls getting ready in some kind of what are those things called? I wrote it down here. Hang on.
Like a truck,
like a trailer, but there's a real specific word that I wrote down for it.
Not a star.
Porta-cabin.
Porta-cabin.
There's lots of the girls.
I was saying to say star trailer. You're like porta-cabin.
A lot of the girls getting ready in a porta-cabin in this scene. Now I just wrote down, because obviously at the time Frankie was with Dougie from McFly. I wrote, Dougie's sitting in the room. What a nice young man.
Seems lovely.
Seems like a really, really lovely young man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got nothing else to say about him apart from that.
Meanwhile, Molly, she's larking around with diversity. The
God.
dance group Diversity.
Oof, this scene was tough. There was some tough things discussed in this scene.
Uh-oh.
My favourite being Rochelle's outside screaming and she goes, Frankie's just been to Jamaica. And then basically we have a very odd scene where Frankie's is apparently, she's just been to Jamaica, and I wrote, so now she can dance like a black person. And at one point Diversity are all dancing and she's like, no, they go lower. I was like, Frankie, who's they? The black people you saw on holiday? Come on.
And then Molly gets in the game as well, and she's like, I'm not even going to say the words, but she's...
Dirty wine?
Thank you. And she's flicking her hair around as well.
I wrote, there's no one more white than Molly. I wrote in my notes. And then I put, she actually does a pretty good job of the dance move.
Again, like someone you went to uni with. Yeah. Fun in a night out.
She's pretty fun.
A couple of drinks. Vanessa's flirting with Siva from The Wanted.
Yeah, and she's wearing her very 2010 skull scarf.
What's she wearing? The skull
scarf.
Alexander McQueen one.
The black and white skull scarf.
Oh yeah, those are going to come back.
I wrote, good for her. And then my next note just says, Rochelle is so pretty. Don't remember what that relates to, but she is.
Vanessa comes back into the porta cabin, Rochelle's there. And this is like an actual real moment. Rochelle kind of in hushed, urgent tones, what's going on with you and Siva? And Vanessa's like, nothing! Stop making a big deal of it! Ugh. Meanwhile, we then have a gorgeous shot of Una on rollers, like hair rollers, talking to a very bored-looking Siva.
Yes.
Love that.
And then I said hair gay is back, or straight, and I said wearing the same outfit that I wore for all of 2010, which is denim shirt, white t-shirt, and like a sand-coloured trouser.
Yeah.
Remember there's that picture of me and that other guy wearing the exact same outfit on that night out? Sitting next to each other.
Very, very handsome and very producible, that hairstylist.
Yeah,
I feel like he's going to be back, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, God. I said, great shot of Molly and Frankie rehearsing outside of a porta cabin. And then I said, Molly's sisters, more white bitches. Wow. I'd really turned on them by this point.
And they all speak exactly the same.
Yeah. One in a trench coat, the other wearing a bumpit.
A bumpit, wow.
My own notes just made me laugh because I forgot about it.
It wasn't, but it was like that big quiff translation for US listeners, pompadour thing that they would do. Absolutely. Remember who we used to work with who had that all the time?
Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah, you're right. She loved a front bumpit. My Snatch Game character is Una's mum.
I mean...
At this point, because she knows she's at a formal gig, she's put on a blazer with a brooch on it. Oh. I love her so much. Her parents are so sweet. And at this point, Una's kind of talking to her, and Una's mum starts talking about how she throws holy water on her before every performance. And the way that they filmed this scene was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So Una's mum's literally like, well, you know what? I throw a little bit of holy water on her before I do perform. It's just for good luck, it's just for good luck. And she's telling the story. And at this point, Una just goes, all right, mum, we've got to go now. Bye. And they just go on stage. It was it's so funny.
I wrote, it's so UK to be at this festival gig and there's a castle. You just see a castle in the background. Actually really lovely.
Yeah, no one cares.
I mean, no one cares about that castle that's been lit in the background. Written, lovely setting.
Yes, I said, they showed the audience, I said, so many people holding up digital cameras in that audience. Some really horrible pictures have been taken that night.
Yeah.
Some low-res, overexposed digital camera pictures of the Sats.
They did a 75-minute set. 75 minutes? What on earth were they singing? Everything.
They must have sung every track from the 2 albums that they'd released.
Well,
they had that song that they were rehearsing that I swear they were just adding in covers and everything. They didn't have enough music to fill that time.
So they must have been headlining this thing.
Yeah.
Good for them. I've written walk and mark dance move. Do you know what I mean? So it's walk, mark, walk,
ego.
Mark. I'm wearing white pixie boots that have a chunky heel. Diamond formation, girls.
I do not know a single lyric to the song Up.
I
really like that song. Up. For a long time, I didn't even know that they were saying the word up in that part of that song because it's so kind of so digitally squashed down, that song. Anyway, my note is I love Up.
I've written, they've all had a lovely time.
And then I noticed that on the one I was watching, the ITV2 bug in the corner said, up next, Jedward, Let Loose.
Oh.
I was like, okay, sure.
I didn't have that one. I've written the music here. Notice the music?
No, what was it?
Because we've really built to quite an emotional, triumphant 75-minute set. We've got You've Got the Love, the Florence and the Machine version.
Of course. There's a scene of the girls all hugging after the gig, and my note is, bless these lovely, boring young women.
Well, yeah, I think that's what I wrote. They've all had a lovely time.
I felt really, I had a real smug smile on my face, and I felt really fondly for them as I looked at it. And then, I don't know if you noticed, just the final shot of this episode is they're getting in a car, and this girl from the audience, the crowd, leans forward and gets the worst picture of all time on a sideways flip phone, and you can see the screen, and it's black.
So at the end of the episode, we see what's coming up in episode 2 of this 4-episode season. Got 3 bullet points. Molly being lovely and excited about something. Vanessa moaning about something. And Rochelle taking off her eyelashes in a Holiday Inn Express bedroom.
Yes, which it looked like she was sharing that room with maybe 2 other people.
Why not?
Of course. We've talked for over an hour. I don't know how I'm going to cut this down, but this has been a long old time. But I think that there's such a signature non-style to the Saturdays that I feel like we could really pick out the most Saturdays moment of each episode.
Okay.
So what's your most Saturdays moment of this episode? I mean, I know mine. I've talked about it for the whole episode. And it's dun, 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 dun. Woo!
God, is it the Smarties mug? Is it
Horsefly?
Is it the horse? Is it the Dettol spray? Is it the... I think it's Molly's New York print.
Oh, you've got it. Your Saturday's moment is the Molly's black and white New York
canvas print with the yellow cabs. Pop of colour.
Well, guys, join us for this next episode. You're going to have to.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to watch the episodes on YouTube. Otherwise, how the hell are you going to know what we're talking about?
Thank you all very much for listening. As we said, you are going to get regular episodes of You're Welcome America every other week, but we're going to be doing this for the next 4 weeks. So, do you know what? From here on in, it's only up. You're welcome.
You are right up my street.
Oh, you can't make me choose.
Igo by Toyota sponsors T4.
Fuck me, Lee Ryan's 13.
I remember we couldn't remember the word for table.